What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the show that never ends. Welcome back to the channel. Hope that you're having a fantastic day. My name is Justin, and today we are finally listening to Pictures at an Exhibition by ELP, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, for those of you who want to be proper, which was released in 1971. It's good to be here. It is so good to be here. Guys, we have finally reached our 18K subscriber goal. Thank you so much. It is my honor to cross this one off the list. And it is because of you guys that we've gotten here. Hold on, I gotta do this on camera. Hold on, I do this weird thing where I sit with my other leg in my in the chair. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Sorry for this wind in the microphone. Cross that off the list. Like I said, it's because of you guys. Thank you so much. Hold on, I really should get that cap actually. Otherwise the marker will dry out. Thank you all so much for helping myself to get to this goal. For 18,000 of you deciding to press the button. Hopefully 18,000 more of you will decide to press the button in the future. But seriously, thank you so much for getting us here to this point and for allowing me to listen to this album. Because I'm not allowed to listen to it until you guys subscribe and get to that point. So thank you so much. Also, some of you had gifted me not only the CD version of the album, I'll leave that right there, but also the vinyl of the album. So those of you who sent these over, thank you so much. We're gonna take a look at them really quick. So the CD version. Hold on, I'm looking at myself. I'm sure you guys can see the pictures there. Got Emerson on the keys, all three of them here. Then you open that up and look how beautiful that looks. That's beautiful. That's classic. So we'll put that down here. And of course in the back, you got the track list. So we'll put that here, and then we pull out the vinyl, remove it from its sleeve. So you open it up, and interesting how on the front, all the pictures are blank. But then you open it up, and all of a sudden they're filled with color. Almost as if when you first see this album, this record sleeve in the store, it's all blank to you. You don't know what to expect, you know? But then you put the record on that on the record player, bam, some music starts playing, and all of a sudden those blank states become filled with color and imagery. So that's awesome. That is fantastic. Thank you so much for sending these over. I mean, this goes with everybody. Sending the gifts, sharing the videos, watching the videos, just being here in the first place. Hold on, let me do a little something. And I think I've talked enough. I think I've talked a lot. I've been waiting too long. You guys have been waiting too long. Let's get the music going. Let's get ELP jamming up in here. You can join me on Twitter. Comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Let's do it. We're going to listen to the first side today and the second side probably next week. I don't know. Probably. Could be sooner, but probably. I don't know yet. Depends on my schedule. I got a tight schedule. I try to fit in what I can. We'll see. But we're going to do the first side, which will begin with Promenade and end with Blues Variation. And then side 2, which begins with Promenade and ends with Nut Rocker. But before we get our rocks off, let's do the first side. This is Promenade Part 1. Let's go.
We're gonna give you pictures at an exhibition.
Lead me from tortured dreams, childhood themes of nights alone. Wipe away endless years, childhood tears as dry as stone. From seeds of confusion, illusions, dark blossoms have grown. Even now in furrows of sorrow, the doubt still is sown. My life's course is guided, decided by limits strong. On charts of my past ways and pathways since I was born. I carry the dust of a journey that cannot be shaken away. It lives deep within me, for I breathed it every day. You and I are yesterday's answers. The earth of the past come to flesh. Eroded by time's rivers to the shapes we now possess. Come share of my breath and my substance, and mingle our streams and our times. In bright infinite moments, our reasons are lost in our rhymes.
intermission has been called. It pains me so much. It hurts to press the pause button. Okay, it actually hurts just a little bit. Wow. That was incredible. Like, did you guys feel the same? Like, that was incredible? Like, seriously. Okay, where to begin with this? Let me start off like this really quick. Well, okay. I know that this is an adaptation of, let's see, Modest Mussorgsky. Hold on. This is an adaptation of Pictures at an Exhibition by Modest Mussorgsky, who I've never heard of, and I've definitely never heard of his original. So I cannot tell you how faithful this is to the original. Can't tell you. Not really in my realm to tell you one way or another. However, I can tell you that this is beyond interesting. This is some of the coolest music I've heard from ELP. Like, if I'm just being straight up and honest, can I tell you from the third track, which is Promenade, again, to the end, to Blues Variation, that's some of ELP's strongest material I've heard. And some of their most like ferocious playing that I've heard. They sound unrelenting without any cause to stop. They just sound like they're putting their 100% blood, sweat, and tears into it, and they don't care. They don't care. And yet at the same time, they sound so comfortable with one another. Now, this is all performed live. I've watched a few live videos from ELP, and they are always tight. But how cool is it to, in an audio sense, even without a visual, to hear the complexity, the technicality, but the heart, the drive, the soul of the band? And did you guys hear that crowd? You know who's in that crowd? Me and you. Oh, are you kidding me? We are in that crowd. Okay, I'm swept up in the emotions of the crowd the same way that they're feeling it. Every time, like, Greg would lay down some funky, deep bass line, or Emerson would pull off some kick flip on the keys. Like, there's just such an energy there that, of course, you can't capture on a studio recording, which you could capture in a live performance like this. This was so cool to listen to. Where do we begin on this journey? I really didn't want to stop it, but, if I don't stop it, it's gonna... it's harder for me to, like, remember and pick through things that I really enjoy about the tracks the longer it goes. But let me tell you, this was fantastic to listen to. Let me say, really, the ending 3 tracks on the side 1, The Sage, duh, you guys knew I was going to say that, The Old Castle, and Blues Variation are so standoutish to me. Let me just start with Blues Variation, because that's the last one that we listened to. Okay, so going into it, you're expecting a variation on blues. And we got that. But I don't know about you, but that exceeded my expectations. I talk about blues sometimes, that blues has a very standard structure. A very specific structure that you can play around with, you can mess with a little bit, but I love hearing bands putting their foot in the blues standard, because it's so interesting to see what comes out of it. Does it still retain the nature and character of blues? Yes. Does it adapt the nature and character of the band who's playing it? Here, yes. Sometimes a band or an artist can get lost in the blues, so lost that they perhaps lose themselves, lose their personality. ELP did not. Like, nowhere near even close. That same absolute insanity that they bring to the table, they bring it here. I mean, for example, if you're listening to Greg's bass, which really throughout, by the way, is so impressive. Very impressive. Okay, listen to this feel they got going on into it. Right? This is so funky. And Emerson, yeah, he's playing his heart out. But then you got Greg just bassing it up. You guys know I'm a bass hog. I can't help it. I'm always gonna talk about the bass, and in this case, it's gonna be Greg. I just love the way that he plays throughout. And Palmer's drumming is as electrifying as ever. Like, I think that even if I didn't know that this was blues variation, you know that ELP are doing the blues right now. And I don't know if, I mean, I would assume that this piece is on the original Pictures at an Exhibition, but I'm not 100% sure. I would assume it is. But how cool it is, even if I haven't heard the original, to hear them do it. Because this sounds like something that they've made their own, which actually leads into the whole lifeblood of who ELP are and where they come from, where their influences come from. Yeah, you got classical, of course, obvious. You got rock, duh. But then you also have sprinkles of jazz, sprinkles of blues. You know, I'm sure that they love playing just like whatever their heart and themselves led towards playing. Bum, 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 bum. You have to feel that. And then they bring it all down to this little quiet shuffle. You hear the crowd? Oh, I'm with you. Emerson is so sneaky with the way that he plays. That bass playing is palatable. And then Palmer's like not slouching it at all. I mean, you always got that certain charge that he has, that only Palmer has. Let's be honest, okay? I think that Palmer is an instantly recognizable drummer. He just has a certain style to him. He's like a bull with wings. I guess Red Bull. In a sense. Like, he's filled with power and muscle. But at the same time, he's got wings. He can fly with grace. He can take off with ease. He can glide. He can soar. However, let's bring it back to the very beginning, okay? Now, admittedly, in listening to the first side and the first two tracks, I would say, it took me a little bit. You know, ELP sometimes are a very dense band, you know, so on my first reaction, first thoughts, I don't always quite know what I think about them. For example, look at my first and initial reaction to Carnival 9. That's a mouthful to take in, you know, you know? So it takes me a second to like get myself into the waters, you know, get my body temperature at the same temperature as ELP. I'm trying to match them, you know, it takes me a second. But by the time Greg led me in with that guitar, which you guys know I'm a sucker for, I'm sorry, I love Greg doing his thing. By that time, I'm in. But the intro is worth noting as well. They have almost like a horn section, kind of reining in everything. Of course, this is more than, well, I would imagine this is Emerson just doing some stuff on the keys and stuff. But then you got that. The cathedral rises from the ground, immediately placing you in a certain setting for the pictures that are going to be unfolding before us. Now, it's not long until the gnome walks through those cathedral doors and says, hey, pay attention to me. And in a sense, I don't know why, but I mean, this is called the gnome. So I'm just imagining a gnome, a little guy, just kind of running in and causing problems. I don't know why. He's a little guy causing a lot of mischief. But I love the way that specifically in this section you have Palmer playing like quick hot flashes in the pan of drumming, along with Emerson, and then it's like Greg is battling both of them. I love that. The little pops from Greg. Big explosion. Okay, I know I say this a lot of times, but if any of you were either in this audience, or I guess for a lack of anything else, just seeing ELP doing something like this, please describe the feeling that you felt, because I wanna vicariously hear them the way that you heard them. Because I'm getting a sample of it right now, just like I said, putting myself in the shoes and in the eyes and the minds of the people that were here watching this one. But I can't imagine hearing this. This would be absolutely incredible. I'm honestly like a little overwhelmed. But look. This is so cool the way that they carry this theme. And then stop it again. Oh, Come on. Talk about almost like a little sorrowful bass pluck, almost as if he's lost the battle. Right? Such emotion is carried only in here. And even without, the things that I like, for example, Greg singing, you guys know I love that. But even in like just this, at least for me, it paints a certain story, a certain picture, and I kind of get the story through the way that they're playing. Like I said, it looked like Greg lost the battle just the way he played, like a little sorrowful tune, And I think that's incredible, and perhaps something that ELP may not always be noted for. Because I understand that ELP is not a band for everybody. I understand that their sound can often come across as just like, how fast can we play? How many this and that can we play? And it's abrasive and it's this and it's that. I understand that, and sometimes I feel the same way. But at other times, I just look at them and I listen to them and I'm amazed at the magnitude of their mastery. I don't know where I was going with that, but the magnitude of their mastery at such a young age. This is their third album? Hold on, I actually need to see that again. I think it's their third. Well, I know this comes after Tarkus and before Trilogy. So it's somewhere in that realm. But regardless, like, they are incredibly young doing this, And they're blowing minds. And they never lose that playfulness that they have. Never. Can you imagine how intense this was? Now, in wondering about how faithful this is to the original, I wonder, because I would have to listen to it, obviously. I've never even heard of Modest Mussorgsky before. But I would have to listen to the original adaptation, or the original Pictures at an Exhibition, to kind of understand, did they capture the heart and the soul of what the original composer was trying to, compose. I love the sound of the bass, specifically with this synth sound. I think that this sounds really cool. Slightly alien. 1971, it is alien, I would imagine. No, this is probably a totally new sound at the time, but I think Emerson is wielding it very well here. And even amongst that, they have a great way of building atmosphere. Especially as it goes from one track to the next track, So as we move into Promenade Part 2, we come back to soft and subtle beginnings. I love how it begins so solemnly with his singing just him, in the emptiness, in the darkness, perhaps the spotlight shining only on him. And then briefly and little by little, Emerson comes back in, slowly adding almost like raindrops to Lake's vocals.
Seeds of confusion, illusions.
Really allowing Lake's voice to fill the room. And you guys know that I really, really enjoy Greg Lake's voice. So anytime I get to hear him singing in any capacity, I'm here for it. Whether that's intense and loud, grandiose, or in quiet, lamenting moments like this. Lamentatious? Is that a word? Lamentatious. I think you know what I mean. It sounds like a song of lament. And then one of the most unexpected things is as we move to the next track, The Sage, it kind of briefly interrupts that mood that we were in before. But you hear there's something building in the back, like almost like on the hairs of your neck. There's something there. And then, after the fading of Emerson's playing, I love an unexpected guitar from ELP.
I carry the dust of a
You guys know. I think you know that The Sage is my favorite part of this album so far. I genuinely love everything from Second Promenade on that I've heard so far to Blue Variations. I really do like that. Like, that is just a strong output. But The Sage, he is all-knowing and he is all-wise. This is beautiful to me. And you know what? I understand, some people don't like Still You Turn Me On from the beginning. Well, from the beginning, you have to like that song. Like, I understand perhaps Still You Turn Me On. You may not like Greg doing this romantic ballad kind of thing. And I understand that. I get that. So, for you people that don't like a song like Still You Turn Me On? Do you like this? Do you appreciate him more perhaps in a setting like this? That seems perhaps more fitting to the album, more fitting towards the music and the message that they've kind of done? Or do you still not like this? Because I love this mysticality of this. It feels like you're in a dark place, and I don't mean in a bad dark place, but just contemplating and reflective, like you're out alone somewhere by the water, in the woods, wherever your place is that you go to think. That's where I feel that Greg has taken all of us to our own personal safe place, where we can talk to ourselves, question things, just think, get away. You know, that's where he's taken us, to that place where we can be one with the vine. You guys tell me, because I'm not a guitarist and I don't know anything about guitar. So this is literally a theory that I'm pulling out, okay? The guitar here sounds extremely full-bodied. And it sounds like he's playing, I would imagine, a classical adaptation of this piece from Mussorgsky. But the guitar doesn't quite sound as clean as perhaps like a classical guitar or something like that. I don't really know, right? It sounds like he's playing this on the wrong guitar. I don't know. However, I will say this, whatever guitar he is using, I think adds a lot of character to the nature of this piece. It has a very full sound, full body tone, and just the way the strings are played are gorgeous. Perhaps that's the production of it, actually. That might be what it is. It might be the production, not the guitar itself. But I think that is played gorgeously. Sung with care and imagination. I mean, to me, that's a great centerpiece. And if you're thinking about this part, which of course I am while I'm listening to this, if you're thinking about this particular song, it kind of breaks up the atmosphere of the rest of the album that came before, and it definitely changes it from here moving forward. The Old Castle is some abstract stuff. Can I tell you though, out of how, in a sense, classical and contemporary the last track was, moving into the Old Castle, the weirdness and the abstractness is welcomed, throwing us head first back into the waters. We're not getting acclimated anymore. We are tossed right in. Okay? I love how Emerson and Palmer really take over. They said, okay, Greg, you had your play, you had your fun, we're coming back now, okay? And I mean, just listen to the crowd going ravenous here. This is so cool. And already they kind of hint towards that blues variation in a sense. And I really love Emerson's sound here. Okay, I want to know, genuinely, the specific effect, keyboard, whatever Emerson's doing there. Do you guys like that tone, or do you find it just horrendous, annoying? Because I think that is one of the coolest tones. I think the way it cuts through everything just sounds so cool. How it cuts through the deep and the depth rather of Palmer's drumming, I think is fantastic. I love the tone. Even when he's going into the higher notes, it works so well in a climactic sense. You know, and then so smoothly, Palmer moves us into blues variation, which we talked about in the beginning. Blues variation is just so fantastic. I really think from Promenade 2 on, I'm really, really in. First two are nice introductions, you know, going past that, I'm in. Oh, I totally messed up my wire. My wires are not here right. Hold on, I'm sorry. When we come back to listening to the next side of the album, I will start a little bit back. Like, I won't start like right at the Promenade on side 2. I'll come back a little bit into blues variation so we can feel how that leads into the rest of it. But let's talk about the lyrics, maybe some additional information on the recording process, all that fun stuff. Emerson said the venue was chosen as the band were popular there and hoped to use its pipe organ. He was granted permission but had to promise the musicians' union he would not stick knives on the council, which he had done since he was in the Nice. And I don't think that's quite nice. I think it's hilarious. They said, you can play here, but leave the cutlery at home. Now, looking at the lyrics, starting with Promenade Part 2. Lead me from tortured dreams, childhood themes of nights alone. Wipe away endless years, childhood tears as dry as stone. From seeds of confusion, illusions dark blossoms have grown. Even now in furrows of sorrow, the doubt still is sown. My life's course is guided, decided by limits drawn. On charts of my past ways, the pathways since I was born. So it seems lyrically he's kind of talking about destiny, perhaps. He's talking about being led from tortured dreams, childhood themes of nights alone. You know, being led out of perhaps a bad childhood, but perhaps that's destined him for bad things later on. He talks about seeds of confusion, which of course could either be that childhood, like a seed, like, you know, blooming into adulthood, or it could be things that were said to him, done to him when he was a child. And he talks about the dark blossoms now growing. Now, I'm curious about the lyrics. You know, I'm assuming that Greg wrote them. I'm wondering how he got the lyrics, because I don't know. I'm imagining that the original has no lyrics, so they had to make some up. So where did he get his inspiration to apply these lyrics to this particular track? That I have no idea. But let's look at the next lyrics here on The Sage. I carry the dust of a journey that cannot be shaken away. It lives deep within me, for I breathe it every day. You and I are yesterday's answers. The earth of the past come to flesh, eroded by time's rivers to the shapes we now possess. Come share of my breath and my substance, and mingle our streams and our times. In bright infinite moments, our reasons are lost in our rhymes. So once again, we're pretty much getting a continuation. Of course, musically we do into this track, but even lyrically, carrying things from the past. He says, I carry the dust of a journey that cannot be shaken away. He can't shake the dust off of his boots. You know, he can't forget the journey he's made, the travels he's taken. It says it lives deep within me, and he breathes it every day. Your past, good or bad, is part of you and what makes you. Now, you and I are yesterday's answers. The earth of the past come to flesh. You know, we are parts of the past, you know. So I think that's really cool, the way that, you know, he's lyrically connecting everything at least. Once again, I doubt that there was singing or lyrics in the original. I don't know, but I doubt it. So it's cool how he's at least making some sort of continuous thread to, you know, thread these two things together. Now that we've talked about the lyrics a little bit, now I can actually look at the pictures here. Let's look at them a little bit together and see if any of them have been filled that we've seen, because some of them are still a little bit empty. So Promenade is still empty here. We haven't heard these, Curse of, or the Hut of Baba Yaga. Isn't that John Wick? The Old Castle. Okay, so it looks like Dracula's castle from Castlevania. That's kind of cool. The Sage, which, looking at the picture, looks like a wood, kind of like wood art. You can barely see it. I'll come up to the camera so you guys can see it a little better. Or actually, I'll push this up here a little bit. And you have the gnome, who is so short he barely fits in the picture. Here, let me put that up there a little bit so you can see. I'm hoping that shows up decently on camera. I'm hoping. Did it focus? Did it focus? Hold on. I think that's it. So you guys can see here on camera. I have it filling pretty much the whole screen, so that should be like perfect, right? Should be perfect. Thank you. Thank you for watching to this point in the video, if you have. And even if you haven't, well, I guess I'm not really talking to you. I really, really, really appreciate everything that you guys have done for me. I don't think that you understand quite how much you've done for me. You've done more than you think. Let me put it like that. Of course, the subscriber goals, which you can't see behind the album, but you know what they are. Thank you for helping me to get to that subscriber goal. This channel has grown into something I can't quite amount. I can't quite quantify, but I'm happy to have it, and I'm so happy, incredibly happy to have you guys here with me. You can follow me on Twitter. You can support the channel on Patreon. You can do all of that stuff. We'll be doing the second side. Who knows? Could be next week. Could be anytime. I don't know. I hope that you have a lovely day. Hope that you enjoyed the music. Let me know your thoughts, of course, down below. Before you leave, like the video. You can share it if you want to do that too. I hope that you enjoyed your time here, and I hope that you come back for side 2, and I hope that you stay for more music and more artists and more bands, and just a good time. That's all I want, just a good time. But for now, I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.